Let's check the credits. The art done by Elizabeth Han, JulyL, and Wei. The code by Alan Guan and Richard Cheng. The writing is by Emily Pitcher. Marketing, Emily Pitcher and Ray Hsiao. And the music in this game is done by Hayden Nunez. So let's check out the space in between. And June, what is your answer to problem 14? You have absolutely no idea what the professor is talking about. You spent the previous nights watching anime instead of doing your homework. All of a sudden, you feel a kick from the side of your desk. 47, a voice whispers from your right. You see Miles. After class, you approach him. Thanks for that, you say. Glancing at his backpack, you see a familiar pin from your favorite band. You listen to Fleet Foxes? Your first date with him is the concert or the park? Let's go with the park. A week later, you two sit at the beach pier, listening to the street performers as the sky turns from soft pink to black. Will you be my girlfriend? Sure. You two bond over your shared taste in your video games or memes. Come on, it's me. It's your video games. No comment on the obscurity of the games I mentioned. He likes Night in the Woods, The Beginner's Guide, Florence. The only question I have now is when's the wedding? As the weeks go on, you discover that he's endearingly awkward, sincere, and nurturing. You like how easily your conversations flow. A constant stream of stories, surprising vulnerability, and recommendations sharing. He may not have been your first best friend, but he's the most special one. Because here is this guy who notices the way you can't help yourself when you get excited, who holds you when you need it the most. You didn't realize that there was still romance in the world left for you, but here it is, big and glowing and full. You decide to celebrate by, say, having a solo dance party in your room or baking every baked good you could possibly think of. Solo dance party. The playlist? All throwback songs. The perfect choice of pretending you're a star in a music video. Oops, sorry. Your friends don't even ask why you're smiling so much. He takes you to the lookout spot next. He takes you to the lookout spot next to his suburban house. And you slowly dance to Hannah Hunt by the Vampire Weekend or Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. I only know Vampire Weekend song. Our days were long, our nights no longer. Count the seconds, watching the hours. And suddenly you understand why heartbreak and sorrow must happen. To have this joy shine so brightly. You see his neighborhood lights reflect in his eyes, and you dare to take his hand. You were now 5 months into your relationship. I can't believe you're driving us 2 hours just to go stargazing. I officially won the boyfriend lottery. I like driving. Plus, it'll be nice to be just us two. Go with my sense of direction is kind of questionable and there's no signal, so I don't know whether that's a good thing, or we did pick a good long drive playlist. We'll go with the sense of direction. The lookout spot will be pretty. It's also in the middle of the woods. If a bear tries to eat us, you're fighting it and I'm running for help. Glad to know you're committed to our safety. I'm very committed. I'm the one devising a plan just in case the bear mauls us. I bet I'm a faster runner than you. I got it. I'll distract the bear by seducing it. You can run into the bear and knock it over. Then we both run away, or the power of fear will motivate me to run faster. Or seducing that bear. I don't think the bear will be easily seduced. What? You're saying I'm not pretty enough for a bear? You're telling me, your own girlfriend, that she's uglier than a bear? That's not what I said. Yes, but that's what you meant. I tell you, you're pretty all the time. Oh, I didn't know. What? You have a thing for bears, or you want to break up with me, but you don't know how to break the news, so you're gonna let me die instead. You have a thing for bears. No, I do not. That's why you think the bear won't like me, because you yourself want the bear. You're crazy. We should call this the bear dating simulator instead. That's not gonna happen. I'm so glad you're comfortable enough to share this with me. It's not true, though. First step to getting help for your bear problem is admitting you have one. Fine. If the bear comes, I'll attack and you run. I'm glad we could agree on the plan. I, too, am thrilled. I don't think I've been here since I was a kid. I didn't realize how beautiful it is here. I'm so used to the city. Yeah, there's no one here. Let's set up the blanket and lay down. Do you know any constellations? No, I wish I did. I always thought they were boring, so I made my own. What do you mean? I would create random shapes from the stars, and then come up with my own backstory. Either a random one I thought of, or something from my life. It's so wholesome. My mom says I was an imaginative kid. We could do that now. That's okay, it was a stupid idea. No, I want to. Here, let me start. Okay, you're now stargazing with Miles. To form a constellation, click and drag between pairs of stars until all edges of the constellation are visible. To find more constellations, move the mouse on the edge of the screen to scroll across the night sky. Completing constellations will unlock more constellations. Let's see. Okay, I guess that's a 3. I see. I see a record. Why a record? I always had this dream to hang up record sleeves on my wall. Before I went through life trauma, I thought life's problems could be solved through listening to a good song. I wish I could be that naive. Now it just represents a person I can never be again. I don't think so. That's part of you, the one that gets excited over everything. The reason I wanted you to be my girlfriend. You're the one who constantly tells me to appreciate the beauty of the universe. Yeah, but I'm also the person where it's like one small thing goes wrong and I'm cursing the universe. I never told you this, but the first time we talked over video chat, before we even started dating, my sisters already knew I liked you. Did you tell them? No, they could hear it in my voice. What could possibly be different about your voice? I sounded happy. You need to stop being so cute or I'm going to start appreciating the beauty of the universe again. I don't think you realize how much joy you have for being alive. And that's because life doesn't always feel so simple. Isn't life always complicated? That's why we must appreciate the rare, simple moments. I don't remember the last time it felt simple. Remember when we went to karaoke? Are you talking about New Year's Eve? Yeah, didn't life feel simple then? Despite everything was happening in our lives? That was one of the last moments I thought everything was going to be okay. When we were counting down to the new year. I really thought I was going to put my past behind. I thought there's no way this year could be as bad. But here we are. I'm not one to believe in miracles, but I want to. For you. I don't need a miracle. I just want a break. I was talking to my therapist about your situation. She told me that you have to acknowledge your worldview is influenced by your mom. Sometimes the negative self-talk isn't you. It's you mirroring your mom. Your therapist is onto something. She usually is. Oh, okay. I see the pond at Boston Commons. I've never been there before. It's the super pretty park that's right next to downtown. I used to go there a lot when I lived there. I wish there was a spot like that where I lived. Just playgrounds, which no one really wanted to hang out at. What was so special about the Commons? I'd go at night when no one was here. There was a quiet, calming atmosphere when there wasn't anyone. Sitting at the benches, looking at the sunset reflecting in the pond, just felt like home. The night before we left for college, my friends and I went to the Commons. We stayed up until 4 a.m., talking about what we would like in college. What we would be like in college, and we all promised to keep in touch with each other. But then everything happened, and I haven't talked to any of them in so long. I feel like they've all moved on with their lives. It's never too late to reach out. They probably wonder where you are. Yeah, but I kinda ghosted them when I took my quarter off. I ghosted everyone. I'm sure they'll understand if you explain. But it wasn't like we naturally drifted apart. Yeah, but you never know if one day you can't say sorry. I was listening to this news story about this phone booth in Japan that doesn't work. A lot of Japanese people died in the 2011 earthquake, and people started going to this phone booth to talk to the dead. Anyway, someone put a microphone in there, with permission, and NPR did this whole piece about the phone booth. I don't like to think about grief like that. I was listening to the recordings, and it was painful to hear even as a bystander. But after that, I realized it was never too late to reconnect. The fragility of human life is terrifying. I guess you're right. I keep thinking I'll do that, but then I put it off. You need to give yourself the chance to be forgiven. But doesn't that mean I have to forgive myself first? Alright, so there's 2 constellations. I see... We got Yakult, which is that probiotic yogurt, or white rabbit candy. I'm gonna go with the white rabbit candy. What's that? The Chinese milk candy. My parents used to buy it for my friends and me to eat when I was younger. A rabbit is on the package of each piece. I've never seen you eat one. Maybe it's time to change that. I'm down to try one. I haven't had one for years because of my mom. There's so many things that I disregard because they remind me of her. But I don't want a relationship with her to change the things I love. Don't think there's a right or wrong way to mourn someone who isn't in your life anymore. You make her sound like she's dead. You know, there was this one time our Chinese school teacher was sick. My mom was our substitute. Everyone loved her. She'd tell stories during class, and she made learning Chinese entertaining. I was so proud. Everyone told me they wanted my mom back. Why do you think she changed so much? It's a complex question I'm still trying to figure out the answer to. Honestly, it's probably best that you don't know. Not to be harsh, but I don't think the answer's pretty. Knowing wouldn't change anything. She's probably going through her own issues or something. God has favorites, and I'm definitely not one of them. I don't think that's how religion works. To be fair, none of us know God, but he's even out there. I think every religious person would disagree with you. Look, God, hear me out. You're really addressing God right now? Beg. You know, I know. Yeah, you haven't really given me the best life. June. No, if you could just, like, I don't know, give me the winning lottery numbers? Or maybe like a random man person passing me on the street and is like, my dying wish is to give you my life savings of millions. I think that'd be the start to an amazing relationship between us two. God, please don't listen to her. And with that, I gotta say, amen. Amen to that. Oh, more stuff. Fish, maybe? Crown. Oh, okay, camera, apparently. I see a camera. I was thinking, what if pictures could do more than just show you how something looked? Let's say you took a picture of a landscape. You could also smell the fresh air there. You could feel the ground. You could basically feel like you were there. I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. Why? Looking at pictures of your exes? Dead people? That's true, but I love the idea of being able to see parts of the world that you would otherwise not have the chance to. Photojournalism would be on a whole new level. People who are in long-distance relationships would love this. Do you think you could do one? A long-distance relationship? Sure. I need to be optimistic about something in my life, and it's obviously not my career prospects. Seriously? What? It's better than having nothing. I think I could. I would have to have a date to look forward to that would see my partner. You know, about your camera idea, I think it'd be interesting if we could do that with pictures of ourselves at different points in our lives. We could see how far we've come. Your therapist would love that. She would, but I'm not sure I would. Why not? You're so much happier than you used to be. Wait a second. Adjustments. No. Sorry. Yeah, but before that period, I was also happier. So, it would be like this disappointment that I'd let myself get so sad. And then some joy from seeing my improvement. It's the ebb and flow of life. Then I wish life would stop ebbing so much. If we could put a barrier to be like, I'm only allowed to be this disappointed in myself, then that would be great. You have nothing to be seriously disappointed in yourself for. Oh, trust me, there's some deep-rooted regret within myself. Relatable. Do you think that's why we're dating? Because we both deal with things way beyond our mental capacity? Yeah. Probably. So we got a bunch more constellations. That one is just an upside down smile. Taco, maybe? Let's see. I'm gonna say the mountain in your neighborhood, the one we drove to last time I visited. Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you remember when we went? We hung our feet off the edge of your trunk, and we talked about what we wanted in a relationship. Yeah, you're actually the first person I brought there. That night solidified why I wanted to be with you, or that I wanted to be with you. Really? I've dated so many guys that I've had things in common with, but we never wanted the same things. When you told me you were looking for a committed relationship, that's the first time I felt like I could really be with someone. I love that we could talk about our feelings openly. There's so many rules about dating that says you can't do that. That you have to wait this moment of time before you text back. You can't seem that you care more, whatever that is. I refuse to participate. I was surprised with how honest you were. I was surprised that you were okay with it. I'm the type of person who needs confirmation that someone likes me, or else I'm making it up in my head. Or else I think I'm making it up in my head. I'm the opposite. I go for guys even if all the warning signs are there. Then I'm your girl. That you are. I've always thought I was doomed, and that there was nothing I could do about it. Things like romance, being desired, being listened to. I didn't think those were for me. Why? Whenever I see cool girls who have their shit together, they have this effortless glow. I see them as versions of myself that I could never be. So if I were a guy, why would I date me over them? Guys feel that way too. I never want to know what to say around girls. Me too. It's because you're so scared to talk to girls. Girls are gorgeous and smart and talented. That's terrifying. You don't sound scared when you're talking to them, and you never seem scared talking to me. I definitely was. I've gone out with so many flaming garbage cans that the prospect of dating someone decent is also terrifying. But you present yourself the way you are. I think about what others be. Sorry. But you present yourself in the way you are. I think about what other people view me. Anyone who claims they're truly above the opinions of others are a straight-up liar. Okay. There we go. Christmas tree? Oh. It works too. I see a tea bag. What's that? Asian people make tea by putting in the leaves alone. Growing up, I didn't even know the tea bags existed. My Lalo never gave me white people tea. Is Lalo Chinese for grandmother? Yeah, we used to drink tea on the weekends as she gossiped about the Chinese boys in our carpool group. Aw, that's cute. And she was friends with the other Asian grandmas in the area, so she'd tell me the insider tea about their lives. Get out. Just leave. I know, I'm hilarious. She told me she thought you were handsome when we met. I'm glad I have her stamp of approval. The fact that she likes you even though you're not Chinese is big. Is that supposed to be an accomplishment? She grew up being taught traditional Chinese ideals, meaning that you're expected to adhere to social order. Maybe the changing generations change her perspective. She's really accepting of the new generation. She actually vocalizes how she's feeling. What? What I mean is that Chinese people never express their feelings or love directly. It's always like, you know your mom is thinking of you when she brings you sliced fruit to your room. Well, my grandma does that and also says it to me. What does that even mean? You know, like when I'm studying, my grandma would drop off apples to my room so I'll have a snack. That's I love you in Asian terms. They should change the definition of love in the Chinese dictionary so it means bringing produce to your door. It's so sweet. What does she think of your mom? If we're talking the 5 stages of grief, my grandma's a mix of denial and bargaining. Well, the very foundation of her family has been ruined, so it makes sense. You know when you talk to someone who's been fighting with their parents, they usually give the advice of talking things over, at least eventually. I was talking to Reese, and he said, "You need to cut your losses and move on. That's how you know I gotta reach acceptance." Do you think that's even possible in your situation? What's the alternative? Lamenting my family until I'm paralyzed? Hope? I have to hold on to hope. That's all I've got, really. Okay. Smiley face. Pork? Go back to that in a bit. Unless that is our last one. Oh, missing one. That's why. I see Joshua Tree. Don't even remind me. Come on. I don't want to speak of the events of Joshua Tree. Where it wasn't that bad. Look, I don't think that seeing your girlfriend cry needs to happen after a certain amount of dates. But I feel like our third was definitely too early. I blame you. You're the one who said Lady Bird was your favorite film. You're the one who brought it. I didn't realize it was going to make you cry. Well, you suggested 2 movies, either Ladybug or that random sci-fi film. How is Star Wars a random sci-fi film? Anyway, I wasn't particularly in the mood, but I also didn't want to sound unappreciative and reject your thoughtfulness. So we watched it. If you said something, I wouldn't have been offended. I was pretty touched when I mentioned liking Ladybug and you remembered to bring it. I thought it meant it was sweet that you were comfortable enough around me to cry. My sorrow was not sweet. I don't think that crying is embarrassing. I don't either, but it shared my life trauma with you before you even knew my last name. Not to mention you were stone cold the entire film. In your defense, the movie is about the relationship between the main character and her mom, and it was sort of related to your life. I should have pretended to watch the movie, but actually stared off into the distance to prevent the waterworks. It's absurd. We were at Joshua Tree. Why would you bring a movie there, of all places? I figured maybe we have some downtime when we were tired of hiking. We alternatively could have made out the entire time. I support that idea, but I brought Ladybug and Bird instead. I should have the courage to reject both movies. It's okay. I think you're exaggerating. I'm just saying that I will never live this down. On my deathbed, I will look back on my life and be like, oh, I remember that time I cried. Not just a single tear or two, but sobbed on her third date with Miles. I will remember. I think that's a bit dramatic. What's dramatic is sobbing during a movie that you're trying to impress a guy. My cool girl in disguise is gone by the 15-minute mark. The movie wasn't even sad at 15 minutes. Exactly, you get my point entirely. You see yourself in the movie. It's an emotional thing. The whole thought process for that movie is absurd. Then what is it? The reason I cried so much at Ladybird isn't just that I see so much of my mom and her mom. It's because they're able to reconcile at the end what I'm not able to. Oh, June, that's a perfectly valid reason to cry. Sorry. All these books and movies where you just wait around long enough, they'll come by. But this is my real life, one that can't be wrapped in such a nice, succinct package. Sorry. I'm having some technical issues. There's this moment when Ladybug goes, "I wish that you liked me." Her mom replies, "Of course I love you." But then she's like, "But do you like me?" And honest to God, I don't know whether I'd ask this question with like or love, because I don't think I'm ready to hear the answer to either. June, you shouldn't be ashamed of any of that. You know, at my high school graduation, my mom got mad at me for wanting to take pictures with my friends. She was grumpy the entire night, yelled at all of us during dinner, then straight up refused to speak to me. Okay. And it was like, I know high school graduation is stupid and meaningless. But it's like, I just wanted to have one day where I could feel like a normal kid with normal parents. And you know how Ladybird ends. Welcome everyone from Brawl. Welcome to the stream. Wanting your parents to be proud of you is human. There was this one time I went to my friend Cindy's house. Her sister let me borrow her clothes, and they helped do my makeup. Her parents saw us dressing up and ordered us sandwiches. We all watched a movie together. This game is good so far, Brawl. They were like, "No, we do this thing every Friday." And it was like, why can't my family do something this simple without screaming at each other's throats? Why can't they pretend like everything's okay? I'm never going to understand the nuances between you and your mom, but feeling frustrated over your relationship with her is normal. I don't know anyone who'd be this frustrated. I guess I wanted to have something completely separate from my mom, where I didn't have to talk about her because I know it confuses people, and I didn't want to deal with feeling misunderstood by more people. Oh, June. I'm sorry you're going through all this. Thanks for listening. Always. I think that was all the constellations. There must be more because it's still going on. Oh, right here. I see a peach. Why a peach? I always ate them growing up. When I was younger, my mom and I used to go out on walks in our neighborhood. We'd steal peaches off the neighbor's tree. It's a Chinese family thing. I feel like we all grew up watching our parents steal fruit. Isn't that illegal? Maybe? Probably? I never heard of that. Trust me, it's a thing. When I went to my Asian friends' houses, their parents would offer me stolen fruit as a peace offering. Then they would ask what I was studying, if I had a boyfriend, whether I had post-grad plans. So the whole "do you have a boyfriend-girlfriend" thing is universal. Let's see. I think all parents secretly worry that their kid isn't going to find someone. When I told my mom I was dating you, she was so relieved. Really? What did she say? She asked me how old you were, and what you looked like. Did you show her a picture? Yeah. What'd she say? She said you were pretty. Good mom. Now I'm assuming it's the same for Asian families? The sentiment is the same, but the questions are different. If you were to tell any Asian mother you were dating someone, the first questions would be what's his major, how rich his family is, and how rich he is. I can't take that kind of pressure. First time my high school boyfriend came over for dinner, she asked us in Chinese. He was Chinese. Every detail on his family and what he wants to be when he grows up. He was okay with it. The week before, I went to his house, and his mom did the same thing to me. I'd still be terrified. There's so many very specific parts of Asian American culture that we just automatically understand. Like the whole fruit tree thing and dating. I was talking to Rebecca the other day about growing up as an Asian kid, and she was like, so embarrassed of what our food smelled like at lunch. I realized that it was also me. People made fun of me because they said it smelled weird. I guess I never realized that other Asian kids went through the same thing. And you all relate on this? Yeah, it's like being bullied about lunch is universally Asian. I never even noticed that people made digs at Asian people for that. Yeah, people made math and rice jokes, but didn't realize that it was as intense as that. None of it was overt, I hate Asian people, but it was the subtle comments that slowly chipped away at my identity. For me, I feel some sort of connection to being American, but it's more something I go through the motions of. It's not like I hear some guy's life story and think, it's me. I was talking about it to my friend, and it's like, we don't want to be known as just Asian, but everything we do is influenced by our Asianness. That's what a lot of people miss. Do we have another constellation somehow? Oh, right here. I see a sunrise. That'd be a perfect constellation. It's specifically the sunrise on our second date. Really? Yeah. That's really wholesome. That date changed what I previously thought about love and relationships. I never thought I'd find someone who got me instantly. I was legit me before I met you. Men who have the personality of a wet piece of bread do not doubt their ability to find a partner. But here I was wondering for days on end if I would ever get a boyfriend. I don't know if you remember, but we were taking turns making assumptions about each other. You were like, a lot of people may not notice it, but you're actually quite thoughtful. I didn't think that anyone noticed the effort I put in. You remember things I said months ago. When you hear a good song, you tell me it reminds you of me. Of course I think you're thoughtful. When you say that, it wasn't just a nice comment. It felt like I was seen. I didn't want to just see you. I wanted to see you as you are. I never really thought people cared enough to try. I barely made any friends my first year of college, and I basically lost all of them the first semester when I took time off of school for my depression. And I was stuck in my hometown while all of my high school friends were somewhere else for college, which basically just made it worse. You were taking care of yourself, which is the best thing you could have done. And a lot of my friends didn't get it, because they knew me as this happy person. Never moved on from me when they stopped putting in effort. It's barely better than the time I took off. But they didn't know what to say once they realized you changed. So when I met you and you kept talking to me, even though I was pretty awkward, I felt like I finally had someone. I didn't realize I had that impact on your life. And I've tried to fit in a lot. I joined the school newspaper, I tried to talk to people in class, but I never felt like I belonged. They all just tolerated me, but you made an effort to see me for who I am. I kinda had this thing. It's called a crush on you. Well, you came into my life right when I needed it the most. It's funny you say that because I felt like meeting you was the universe's way of being like, here's someone, your way for the shit we've put you through. When we first met, I figured you thought me annoying. I was way more preoccupied by thinking I was annoying you. We should have just been honest with each other. I was too much of a wuss with you, to be honest. We all have our wuss moment. Sorry, I'll clarify. Many factors, including your wussness, contributed to your lack of communication. You're gonna comfort me by saying you're a wuss too? Wuss in solidarity. Oh, 4 more constellations. A book? I see my journal because it was the only thing that brought me comfort when I took time off of school, and I think it deserves its own consolation. You don't strike me as a journal person. My therapist makes me write in one. If it's that important to you, then I think it deserves a constellation too. It's been almost a year since I took a semester off. I've been thinking about it a lot in that time of my life. What have you noticed? I realized how much better my life would have been if I hadn't been depressed those 2 years. You only took a semester off, though. My lost time doesn't just include when I took time off of school. It was the entire duration of my depression. Yeah, that makes sense. I realized how much better I would be now if I spent those 2 years I wasn't in college productively. I wasn't the kind of person who anyone wanted to be friends with. I had all these goals that I put on hold. Now that I'm finally getting better, I could have done so much more. You can't control the depression, so it isn't your fault. Right. But no one told me that I couldn't never make friends or make progress on my dreams. I did it to myself. Obviously not intentionally, but it still happened. You're doing great things now, though. You're back at school, you have me, and so many other people. Yeah, but if I didn't waste those 2 years, my life would have been so much better. I think the important part is that you picked yourself up. People spend decades confused. You know exactly what you want in life, which is already more than most people our age. I've always known. The execution has been the difficult part. Knowing is difficult in and of itself. I wanted to be seen for my accomplishments. The validation would have made me happy. But I had to stop being depressed and do something first. It takes so much courage to allow yourself to heal. But I knew it was the reason people didn't want to be my friend. I carried the negative emotion with me everywhere. I was difficult to be around. Earlier this year, I ran into a guy that I met at our college newspaper. We talked in the semester before I dropped everything. When he saw me again this year, he was like, "I'm so glad that you're in a good place now, that your life was back then. You were terrible to be around." He didn't have to say that. But the reason it really affected me was that he was completely right. I tried to make friends, and it never panned out because I wasn't likable. I couldn't help that I was depressed. But he shouldn't have said that. You never know what other people are going through. Everyone knew and loved him. He was where I wanted to be. Just because people like him doesn't mean he said the right thing. And I saw all these people who were smart and sociable, and I wanted to be more like them and be them more than anything. I didn't care if they were boring. They were happy. That was everything to me. Regardless of the whole boring thing, there are so many people like me who want to accept you as you are. And I've learned that now, but after so many years of being left out, it's hard to drop that mindset. The painful parts of myself, the toxic thinking, the insecurity, the mental illness, it seemed so big that people never wanted to be with me. This game is like really freaking relatable. But mental illness isn't who you are. You're an amazing artist. You're a good boyfriend. You see people for who they are. I recently met this guy in my class. I realized that we did the same type of art, so I looked him up. Saw his profile and realized he was the real deal. While I was back at home, he was refining his style. You could do that. You're already off to the right start. I don't know, though. If I could ever reach that level, I don't know if my best will ever be enough. But now I have all this lost time. You needed that time to be where you are at now. You never went through the self-reflection or took time off of school. You'd still be where you were a year ago. I guess I'm frustrated that I'm not someone else then. Alright, have a good night, bro. Thank you for hanging out. How I like to see it is that there have been moments in my life where I wouldn't trade for anything. If I were a different person, I'd lose them. I don't want to lose you. Yeah, have a good night. I don't know who it'd be if we hadn't met. Really? Well, I do know, and I'd be worse. I feel safe telling you these things because I know you'd understand me. I could be the best version of myself starting from now. I still don't know if that's enough. For that to happen, I need to advocate for myself the way you do. If anything, I need your patience. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? We should combine ourselves to form the perfect person. Learn from each other. Oh. This is awkward. I would love if we could talk to people more. If I could talk to people more. I would love if I were a cute artist boy. Could make a great person. Agreed. Alright, we got a couple more consolations. Here. Balloon? I see my neighborhood streetlight. What's that? When I was about to go off to college, I'd lie under the streetlights with my friends. We'd talk about life. I spent my whole life wanting to see more. More city, more people outside my bubble. But once I left, I realized that there was actually so much life already in my hometown, as suburby as it is. You always call it boring. That's the point, really. You can't go out, so you lie under the streetlights and talk about life and why you're scared of the future and all that. When there's nothing to do, you may as well share your deepest hopes and dreams. I like to think a great scholar said that. Who would this great scholar be? Me. I said this. Well, scholar or not, I think you're right. A lot of my secrets were shared under a streetlight at night. The stars hold all of our secrets. It's pretty intimidating. The amount of times I shared my secrets because I was late at night when I was in my feels is embarrassing. Then the next morning I'm like, mistakes were made. I know the feeling. There was this one time I liked this guy and we were messaging late at night. Just started sharing my entire life story because I was like, he's gonna get all my life trauma and fall in love with me. But then he ended up ghosting me. You share your life story at all times of the day. Yeah, but I think because I was exhausted, I convinced myself that we were soulmates, and he was destined to like me. It's a lot of hope to have. Yeah, but I hold out on things that aren't meant to be. Duly noted. Let's see. I want to prove the cynical part of me wrong. but I never do. You always talk about how little you believe in things, but you're really one of the most secretly hopeful people ever. You took a chance on a relationship when any average cynical person wouldn't. I did think about what I was doing for 10 hours a day. Yeah, but it's the action that really counts and what affects your life. That's what you should hold on to. I see a paper lantern. Like the ones in Chinatown? I used to go to the Lantern Festival there every year. When it was still in Chinese school, they'd make us do dances. One year, I was a lily pad. It's adorable. You did so many things as a kid. Yeah, but none of them stuck. I'm not doing cultural dances anymore, or really anything from back then. I never heard you talk about the Lantern Festival before. That's because I stopped going. Too old now? My mom still goes, and, you know, it'd be weird if she saw me. My friends still go, though. Your friends know what's going on with your mom, right? I think they pretend not to notice. I'm sure they don't want to make you feel awkward. I appreciate them for it because I can at least experience the nicer parts of being Asian. Like what? Seeing a Chinese person at a party and immediately feeling at ease. It's the unspoken bond of meeting someone, sharing no words but understanding their upbringing entirely. I never had that feeling before. There was this one time in 6th grade when I was at a sleepover with the girls. We all started doing this one girl's makeup and she looked gorgeous. Everyone called her beautiful. But then when it came to doing my makeup, they made me into a little raccoon. It wasn't on purpose, but Asian eye shapes aren't the traditional Western beauty standard, so no one understood how to do my makeup. So while my friends were complimented by everyone in the group, I was a clown. I'm sure they were trying their best. They were, but whenever I tell this story, my Chinese friends all know exactly what I'm talking about, with their eye shape and the whole feeling ugly because you're Asian. Everyone else thinks it's a story about me being an insecure kid, but no, it's me being an insecure kid because I'm Asian. I don't know why anyone would think Asian people are ugly. Growing up, a lot of that has faded, but I remember being young and having this guy confide in me that he liked my friend being like, she's pretty for an Asian. I truly don't understand why anyone would voice that opinion, especially to you. I used to wish I was white. Sometimes I can't tell if I still want that. June, the moment you talk about being Asian, your eyes light up. You couldn't sound more excited to tell me about an Asian market. Yeah, but those parts of being Asian feel weird without my mom in my life. Can't tell if I'm a fraud who's performing Asianness. I bet you there's a ton of people who have a fine relationship with their parents, but they don't describe their childhood the way you do. I just don't know if the Asian community accepts me. It doesn't help that my family is the black sheep of the Asian community. They should understand that it's not your fault. You know how you see your parents this one way when you're a kid, but then you grow up and you have this big realization? My parents were actually regular people. I went through that, but realized my mom isn't even that. Your mom is human, but your realization is more sad than humbling. I don't think my mom is this evil person. I think she's someone who can't control her temper to a point where I can't have a relationship with her. You can't control who your parents are. Some people let that bad luck define them. My mom hasn't contacted me once since our big fight. I'm never going to pretend like I know what you're going through. But you've had a rough couple of years. The fact that you still have the capacity to empathize with people You give people your all. It's a testament that you're a good person. I was at my friend's house for her birthday. While we were gone, her parents decorated her entire house and cooked us food. We got back and everyone had dinner with them. My friends deserve all these things, but the whole situation feels more fantasy than what normal parents are like to me. Her mom asked about my parents and was like, what am I supposed to say? I don't speak to my parents. Actually, they're still alive? You could put it at, we live separate lives now. Yeah, but then I'm the one bringing down the mood. I'm the one ruining the group dynamic because I have issues. It's not your fault, though. I want to go where no one knows my name, where I don't have to think about the person I'm supposed to be. It doesn't matter how much you run, it'll catch up to you eventually. Okay, I was like, is there another one? Hey, June? Yeah? I really hope you know how amazing, resilient, and special you are. No matter what my current situation is, I hope you know you can always talk to me. I'll always be there for you. Miles shifts his body and leans towards mine. Our face is so close I can hear his breath. You're my person. I used to dream what it'd be like being in a relationship. I used to dream about what being in a relationship was like. I had all these fantasies about guys throwing rocks in my window and making me playlists to fall asleep to. But what has happened between us is even greater than anything I could have imagined. No matter what's happened in my life, having you here has made it all worth it. You're worth it all. You're the brightest person in any room. Remember that one time you walked me home after the Father John Misty concert? Yeah? You told me that you wish your past self could see you now. I remember. I wish my past self could see me now. Star shoots across the sky. Did you see that? I've never seen a shooting star before. Then you should make a wish. I did. What did you wish for? I don't think I'm supposed to tell you. I don't like this rule about wishes. You'll know what it was soon enough. Really? Let me tell you this. What I wished for just came true. Just now. I wish that I would fall in love this summer. I did. I love you. I love you too. Not just that, I love how you are unapologetically yourself no matter what. I love how you dance when when there's no music playing. I love how you get excited over the smallest things, like seeing your favorite food in the grocery store. I love that you have the worst luck when it comes to dating, but you still took a chance on me. I love that you'll say yes to all my weird ideas. I love that you get more beautiful and determined each day I know you. I love that I get to witness your growth. Please tell me you rehearsed that, because that was way too smooth otherwise. I did give myself a good pep talk in the mirror before tonight. Alright, that was the space in between. Incredibly sweet story. Two people who've considered themselves damaged coming together and finding love.